I ended up in a situation where I had no idea where I was going to live. I didn't have a car. I had no friends. I had no money. It just kind of was getting to a point where I was like, you know what, maybe this was a mistake. Maybe I need to go back home.
I grew up in a small town in Germany, and I couldn't speak any English. It was not really normal to just like leave the small town. And so it was very like, don't throw your life away. And, oh, you don't know anybody in America. Like you have no friends, you have nothing.
Hey, I'm Ryan, and I'm from the USA.
Hey, I'm Lena, and I'm from Germany.
We met in California and run a film production company together.
So we decided to document our lives to show our future kids. And this is our story.
They say all good things must come to an end, or that the only constant in life is change. Such is the case with where we are at right now. If you clicked on this video, you're probably expecting some inspirational message about not giving up on your dreams, and I promise that's coming later in the video. But first, let me explain why we're making this. A few weeks ago, we found out we'd need to move apartments, and while that might not sound like a big deal, it's bittersweet for us. This has been our first true home together. Not a cramped room in somebody else's house or a moldy condo that impacted Lena's health. It's been our sanctuary, a milestone in a journey where we've both worked very hard to get to where we are. Growing up, I moved around a lot and didn't really know what home meant. And neither of us come from money or anything that would set us up to succeed in the directions we chose in life, so we've both been pioneers on our own path, paving our own roads and just figuring things out one crazy adventure at a time. So for us, creating this space over the past few years has been rewarding. It's become a sanctuary in the midst of the hard work and stress as we pursue our crazy dreams. But alas, nothing lasts forever, and the ever-increasing inflation of the California rental market has forced us to make some choices that require us to find something a little more cost-effective, shall we say. So we decided to make one last video in this apartment, a day in the life, if you will, for us to remember this time of our lives by. So our day starts out just like any other member of the American population, coffee first. We have this great espresso machine and I love it and usually use it, but I've been using our drip coffee machine lately because it just means I could get my caffeine faster. How American of me. There's this Danish term called hygge that Lena's family in Germany explained to me, and it basically means to create a cozy, warm, and comfortable atmosphere that promotes a sense of well-being and contentment. It involves enjoying simple pleasures like candles, good food, and spending time with loved ones. We both work from home most of the time, so creating a space like that we find is really important for our creativity and overall appreciation of the little things in life. Once we've had our coffee and tea, because Lena doesn't drink coffee, we get ready for the day. Since today is a day that we're taking off to show you around our little beach town, I just have a few emails I need to respond to while Lena gets ready. Now it's time for breakfast.
Good morning, everyone.
Breakfast! We're gonna make eggs and ham and grilled tomatoes on Lena's homemade bagels that she made.
We just got these, they're called green pans. They're incredible because you can move the egg around without it sticking. They're like non-stick, non-toxic, so we don't get sick.
Come on everybody and do the shing-a-ling-a, shing, baby, baby.
Alright guys, so if you enjoyed that little intro, today we are going to be doing a day in the life vlog of a little day off. After all of my emails this morning, I am done with work for the day, and it's a beautiful sunny day out, and we're trying to take the day off, and so we're gonna take you around our town, show you around, go do some fun things.
And these bagels taste incredible, so it's a very good start to the morning.
Part of my morning routine is I have this green powder that I put in this drink, and I drink it every morning so that I get my vegetables.
But can I just share a quick story? When I first met Ryan, we were dating, he always got sick, always. And then I Googled vitamins for men that they need every single day, and I wrote down this huge list. We went shopping, bought all the vitamins, and he's been taking them every day and like a lot of greens, and you've not really been
I've only gotten sick like once or twice in the past 2 years. What I take every morning is probiotic, vitamin C, vitamin D, fish oil, and magnesium. Every day, every morning, Makes me feel great. Health and wellness. Okay, so to get our day started, the first thing we're going to be doing is going down to the beach and going for a little walk.
Oh, und ich wollte noch kurz sagen, hallo, meine deutschen Freunde. Ich weiß, dass wir ein paar deutsche Leute hier haben und ich wollte nur kurz Hallo sagen in Deutsch. Und ich freue mich so sehr, dass ihr dieses Video anschaut und hoffentlich kann der Ryan auch bald Deutsch sprechen, weil ich gerade mit dem ein bisschen lerne, aber der vergisst immer das zu üben und wenn du es vergisst, dann vergisst er so viel Deutsch. Aber ich hoffe mal, dass er bald fließend spricht. You look cool.
I woke up early the other morning. Yes, I did.
So this is a really beautiful neighborhood by the beach that we like to access the beach through, and parking is free here, so it's great.
Let's go.
Okay, so the transportation method in the city is this.
Golf carts. That's what everyone rides. This is probably one of our favorite beaches to go to in the winter because it's usually pretty empty and the beaches are nice and big, which I guess makes the perfect setting for us to sit down and talk a little bit about why we called this video what we called it. Probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life is starting a career in the film industry. If you know anything about the film industry, it's extremely competitive and everyone wants to be the next Steven Spielberg, if you will. I kind of grew up always wanting to do something in the arts, and around high school that took the form of photography, which eventually took the form of filmmaking, and I decided I wanted to be a filmmaker. I wanted to create videos for a living and make movies and whatever that would entail. So I left the tiny town that I was living in of Salmon Arm, British Columbia, where there is no film industry and I have no relatives in the film industry. I have no connections, anything like that. So with schooling and finding a place to live and trying to break into it, you know, as much as I would have been nice, I totally understand my parents weren't able to help me with any of that financially or anything. So it was just kind of up to me to figure it out. I left right after high school and I moved to Vancouver and got sort of plugged into the film industry there through doing a year in film school, and that was probably just the most special thing ever. But at the same time, it was also extremely hard because I had to figure out how to pay rent. I had to figure out how to live a life, and I kept telling myself I refused to get a normal job. I was going to figure out how to do this by, I wanted to give 100% of my time into creating a career for myself in the film industry, whether that was working as a cinematographer or maybe he was doing videography stuff, whatever. I forced myself to do that. And so there were years where I was just broke as a joke and
Lived off ramen noodles.
lived off ramen noodles and whatever else I could scrounge together, and many times I didn't know how I was going to pay rent, and it was hard. It was very hard. After about a couple years of living and working in Vancouver, I had learned enough that I felt confident that, you know what, I think I'm ready for the next step, which in my mind was I'm going to move down to Los Angeles. I'm going to move to California. I'm going to pursue the film career down there.
And you also felt like God was kind of calling you there.
I did feel like God was calling me there, and I felt like I had a draw to there and I was supposed to move there. So I packed all my belongings up into a rental car and I drove down the West Coast, and that was 5-6 years ago now. After about a year of living here and working on this film, I was kind of stuck. Basically, the film was done and it didn't really end up going anywhere, and I was kind of just left here okay, what do I do next? What am I going to do? I ended up in a situation where I had no idea where I was going to live. I didn't have a car. I had no friends. I had no money. It just kind of was getting to a point where I was like, you know what, maybe this was a mistake. Maybe I need to go back home. And that was right around the time when I met Lena. Probably exactly, which is so crazy and such a testament to how God worked, where I was literally ready to pack things up and go do something else and just give up on film and everything like that. And she prayed over me, and I remember within about a week, all of those things started falling into place. It had been years of me struggling, and then all of a sudden I found a place, I found a car, and I started having jobs coming in, and it was nothing special. I mean, where I lived, it was kind of a shack. The car I have is the car I still have today. So that was very exciting.
Funny.
And I drive nothing special. It's a Volkswagen Jetta. We basically, throughout the whole dating process and everything and getting engaged and getting married, we went through a long time and a lot of years of trying to figure out still how we're going to sustain a life making films and working as a cinematographer and all these things. And I do want to note that I was getting jobs at this point. It's just like, it was barely enough to sustain what I was doing. And it wasn't until probably 2 years into our marriage that things finally started turning around, which was about 5-6 years since I started the whole journey. That was the moment we started a production company. Everything just started kind of going a little bit faster since then. And now I'm happy to say on the other side of it that had I given up and moved back home, I never would have met Lena, which has changed my life more than I can even tell you. She's the love of my life, and I am a better man because of her. The other thing is I would probably not be getting to run my own business with my wife and get to do what I love for a living, not be constantly living paycheck to paycheck, just scrounging things together and hoping that one day this film thing works out. So it's taken a long time to get here, and I'm still in no way close to where I do want to be if I were to give myself some sort of made it thing. I say all this, please don't take it as me bragging, because I owe everything to Jesus. I owe everything to God, because this is the only way that I have made it through all of this. All that to say, if you are in a similar situation and you are struggling with something and you're at that place where maybe you just started, or maybe you're a few years in or whatever, just know that we understand what that's like. And it does get better as long as you keep going and you don't give up, because you just never know what is on the other side of that. God has a plan for you, and it's gonna work out if you just keep putting the hard work in over and over and over again, even when it doesn't feel like it's doing anything at all. You never know who you might meet and where your path may go. And with that, we're gonna move on to the next thing. When was there a time in your life when you had to go through something really, really hard and you thought you were never going to make it, and you came out the other side looking back and knowing that you did it?
I wouldn't be sitting here today married to this man if I would have given up. I grew up in a small town in Germany, and I couldn't speak any English. I just had very broken English. It was almost like I could say simple words, but I could not have a conversation with you or form sentences. But when I was younger, I always had this dream to come to California, and I would always see magazines, and I would be obsessed with movies and filmmaking and acting and all this kind of stuff, and I've always wanted to visit the US, right? But back then, it was 10 plus years ago, it was not really normal to just leave the small town. Nobody around me did that, and so it was very oh, Lena, don't just put your head down and just stay in your lane. Don't throw your life away. And, oh, you don't know anybody in America. You have no friends, you have nothing. I started to doubt and kind of believe all of these things, and believe the lies in my own head, and felt discouraged and felt you know what, I'm not gonna go after my dream because it's not gonna work out anyways, because that's kind of what I've been told a lot. I remember my last year of high school, I just applied to a job, and I started a corporate job, and I was just not doing what I really wanted to do, and what I really felt called to do. I just was super depressed, kind of in a toxic situation, and I almost saw gray and rain all the time. That's how I felt inside and outside too. But I kind of just gave up on life. I was it's fine, it's just not for me. I don't come from money, it's not gonna happen. I think I got to a point where I just got so depressed and so sad that I was you know what, if I don't try, I'm always gonna regret it. But obviously it was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, because there were so many things I didn't have, so many things I had to do and didn't know how to do it. But anyways, long story short, it all kind of fell in place. But the night before, I almost canceled my ticket because I just got really discouraged. There was a bunch of stuff that happened. I got so much anxiety about it. I was no, I can't go. They're all right. I'm not gonna make it, kind of thing. And
you're having cold feet?
Yeah, I was having cold feet. It was interesting because I went up the stairs, and I don't know if you're a believer or not, but I really felt like God was telling me I need to go on this airplane, because I just had this clear, almost like an audible voice that I need to go on this airplane. And I was like, and then all of a sudden I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. So long story short, I ended up here, and that was about 10 plus years ago or something, when I started to travel and all that kind of stuff, because I also lived in Australia and everything. I basically didn't have anything, like no money, my English was very broken, and no friends either. I had to make all new friends, and that's also very hard in a new language. Like, it's hard to make friends in your own language, but then trying to make friends when your English is so broken, that was really, really hard. There was so many times I kind of hit a wall. I almost gave up, and then something in me was like, I need to keep fighting, because for some reason I knew it was on the other end of it, but I didn't see it yet, and I just kept fighting and fighting and fighting, and things got better. Like, I found a home, I found a car after years and years. I was like, taking Ubers to work, walking to work, asking people to drive me or sleep in people's houses. Like, people were really kind, but I never had my own home, I never had my own room. I always had to share or like be in somebody's house or on somebody's couch thing, and that's okay. Like, that's not a huge deal. I think the hardest thing was the English for me, because like now I'm fluent and you guys hear me speak fluently, but that was nothing. Like, I could not speak at all, and I was just kind of like picturing it and being like, no, you know what, I'm going to learn. I can do it. All these moments like that I almost wanted to give up and just throw in the towel, like, it kind of makes me emotional, because it's crazy. I would have never ever met Ryan. I would have never been married to him, or we would have never crossed paths if I would have given up and gone back home, or didn't go on that flight or that airplane, or same with him. It's like, it's always crazy how you meet, but for me it's crazy to think about, because I grew up in a totally different country, different culture, different language. He grew up in a totally different country, different language, but we still met, which is crazy to me, because he's the love of my life, and I couldn't even imagine life without him. And I'm seriously sitting here today and telling you, like, if you have a situation where you're like, you know what, you have a really, really like strong desire to achieve something or a dream or to do something, but you almost want to give up, just keep fighting, because I can tell you right now, like, there might be something or someone on the other side of that's waiting for you there. Like, you don't know that, and it might not be a person, it might be something that you've always dreamt of doing. Same with Ryan's story. Like, it's in so many people's story, when they almost wanted to give up, something happens, and it kind of turns. What is that picture with somebody who's like trying to get a diamond? And this picture,
Yeah, it's like a meme.
Yeah,
It's like at the very last minute.
Yeah, he's
about
around.
to like turn around. It's like a cheesy meme,
Yeah.
but it's got some truth to it.
It's got some truth to it. So I just wanted to encourage you guys, from somebody who had a huge dream, and
You were in a place where you weren't set up to have any way to achieve that dream.
No, I was not at all. And I think people, I don't know if they talked about me, but people were like, oh, look what she's doing. Like, it's, it's kind of, she's probably going to come back anyways. Like, she's probably not going to make it. And I'm not saying everyone said that, like, because I had a lot of people who were very encouraging, but I felt like that was kind of like the feeling that I got from a lot of people. But knowing that that's a lie, and just like really believing like truth, and believing like the things that God speaks over you, and not all the other things that people speak over you or the enemy puts in your head. So just really go after your dreams, trust God, and don't get distracted.
Well said.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to both of our stories, and we really didn't go into that much detail on the specifics or all of the crazy experiences we had along the way of getting to where we are today. There's just not enough time in one video to share everything. So if you do want to hear more about our story, comment below and let us know, and maybe we'll make some more videos on that kind of thing. So we made a quick little stop at another beach that Lena really likes to go to, so she could show you guys this place. This is another spot we like to often go and eat our lunch at sometimes, because it's really, really pretty. So now we're going to head on home and go eat some lunch. One of the things we've appreciated most about this apartment is the balcony and the little view of the ocean we have. But as you can see from this vlog and all the places we've been going, the proximity to the beach is probably our favorite. As a result of the work we do, we end up with a lot of electric bikes. It's kind of crazy how many different clients we're working with producing commercials for in this space, so we like to make the most out of this unique blessing that's come our way and ride a couple of them down to the beach to watch the sunset.
Just rode up here to the pier and we're gonna go down and watch the sunset. We often ride here with our bikes because we really love the spot, and it's all very like Spanish architecture here, so we love that about this town. It's so like, it almost feels like Europe, but it's not. We are at the famous pier of our little small town. We have Fisherman's Restaurant right here, and a lot of people come to watch the sunset here. It's so gorgeous. Let me take you to the other side. You can still see the sun a little bit if you look closer, but it's so gorgeous down here.
Made it home. That was a fun little bike ride we got in to go watch the sunset. Probably just gonna relax here for a little bit.
Just sit. Just sit.
We went back and forth for a bit trying to decide if we wanted to stay in or go out to eat, and in the end we decided to head back into town to try this Peruvian spot which we hadn't ever been to before, and it tasted honestly really good. Since today's a Monday, it was pretty quiet, but we enjoyed the fire and some drinks, and the owner was super nice and showed us this really cool speakeasy that they have. Apparently the restaurant is built into the old jailhouse from the 1930s that was in this town, so they turned the jail cells into this hidden speakeasy, which was really cool. Definitely gonna have to go back there and check that out again sometime on the weekend. Guys, well, we're back home and now it's movie time. I don't know what we're gonna watch yet, but it's probably gonna be something great.
Also, if you're somebody who has a big goal or a big dream and feels like giving up, please comment below. We would really like to pray for you.
So that concludes a day in our lives. We hope you guys enjoyed seeing a little bit about the town we live in and what a day in the life looks like for us when we're not working. If you ended up watching this far, comment below about where you're at in life and maybe what struggles you're facing. Because when the comment section in the YouTube community is used for good, it can be a really beautiful thing to connect with like-minded people and encourage and inspire others in whatever they may be going through in life. As always, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and checking out some of our other videos, and feel free to follow Alina's Instagram if you want to see more about her life here in Orange County, as well as our production company if you find filmmaking interesting and maybe want to see what we're producing these days. And that's it. We'll see you guys in the next one.